we're going to start our afternoon session. This is going to be our second session in the academy. So the session is going to be about cultural diplomacy and relation, practitioners roundtable. So supposedly, we are moving from more academic and theoretical work in the morning to the evening, how we actually are the professional and practitioners in different institutions and individuals. They visualize cultural diplomacy and cultural relations in the real world. So we are very honored that we invited Professor Akira Akuma from Japan. He's going to chair the session for us. So let's welcome Professor.
Can you hear me? Fine. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this session. This session, perhaps you feel very sleepy after a good lunch, but please be sure to remember this session. The way to proceed with this session is a little bit different. We have 4 speakers, and first I ask each speaker to speak about 10 or 15 minutes. And after each speaker, we have a question and answer session. So you don't have any time to feel sleepy. I hope you prepare for at least 1 or 2 questions. Okay? Okay, thank you so much. Then let me introduce myself. My name is Akira. Akira means rising sun. Rising sun. And Oguma means small bear. I'm still growing. So that as each one of you, we are changing. This is a changing world. My role is coordinator, and I'm from Japan. Last year, I retired from the university, so that I'm completely free. Very happy to be here. Yeah. Okay. Then let me introduce to you today's speakers, 4 speakers. First, Ms. Terin Chen, Deputy Director, Taiwan Film Institute. Please stand. Ms. Emily Sue Yuan, Research Assistant, National Taiwan Museum. This museum. Okay, this is rather difficult to pronounce, but Mr. Jomi Sori, political officer, not cultural officer, but political officer, European Economic Trade Office. And finally, Ms. Catherine Lee, Director, Taipei Artist Village. All speakers from famous cultural organizations will share their missions, roles, and visions on cultural diplomacy and relations. Okay? Now, each speaker, as I said before, talks about 10 or 15 minutes and follows with 5 minutes question and answer period. Then I'd like to welcome first speaker, Ms. Terin Chen. Please come over here.
share some thoughts about my work in Taiwan Film Institute. And before I elaborate more about how we do the international promotion, I will take a little time to introduce what my organization have done for the past 40 years. This is a brief history of our organization. As you can see that this is a 40 years organization. At the first beginning, it started with kind of like a film library. And over years, the government expands its mission to ensure the survival and public accessibility of Taiwanese film heritage as Chinese Taipei Film Archive. And after that, in 2014, my archive had been upgraded to Taiwan Film Institute. So which means that more missions are coming. So it includes that we need not only to do the preservation, conservation research of the Taiwan film heritage, but we need to promote it. Especially we need to promote it worldwide. So I think that's why I'm here. And but we need to go back to the origins of these archives. This is what we have collected. Lots of stops in our bags. You can see the figures. It's quite amazing that we have nearly 17,000 Chinese language film titles in various formats, including features, documentaries, shorts, and newsreels. And also we have video discs, videotapes, books, and lots of film posters, stills, and film artifacts. So you may be wondering how we preserve them. So we have a big box, and they are located in Shuling. It is in New Taipei City, and it is more than 4,000 square meters, and we have 13 baths in total. And the most important of all, we need to do the temperature and humidity control. Rather than I just say it in words, I will show you the clips of a trailer of a documentary that we just made, and we had a premiere just last week. So I'm so happy that I can share this with you. Wow.
大家会认为电影中心你是拍片还是演员？那我说不是哦，我们在保存一些老旧片子，一直走。
哎，到。这里算，我有到了。
哎呦，前10年应该都是在看新闻纪录片。你面前的这一堆胶卷都快死，我们怎么样在它死之前把它资讯保留下来？死少。
因为其实没有人看过嘛，因为这个东西现在大概就是剩这一份，所以其实没有人看过。这边我们有吗？
很多都没有。
九这温暖，这个我们有。
我们如果能够透过我们的修复，让它公诸于世的话，我觉得会让我非常的觉得非常有成就啊。
我的理想状态是我一个月可以修到10分钟。那时候这些刮痕都拿出来，这边裂着。进步就是有它的极限啊。
然后去掉这些脏点，我觉得差不多了。
The title of this film is called Archiving Time. So there's kind of mission that our organization has done, that we preserve the film history, the film heritage, that tell the story of Taiwan in general, I can say that. And what we have done in our bouts is we do the physical repairs of those film material. So we set up our own film restoration lab, and it's kind of a self-reliant digital restoration lab, and with newly acquired 4K digital equipment. It kind of technical works, and we usually do the scanning, sound digitalization, restoration, and color grading. And most of all, we make it to the public. So you can see the works that we have done every year. We do 6 works every year, especially in the recent years. We put a lot of emphasis on the Taiwanese language cinema, which enjoyed its heyday in the 1960s and 1970s. And these are the titles of those films. So with those materials, how do we connect ourselves with the world? The first one is very important because we participate in the international organization which empower us to bring our knowledge, not only here in Taiwan, but we can exchange those knowledge with those organizations worldwide. So in 1992, we joined the FIAP as associate member in 1992. FIAP is the International Federation of Film Archives. So once we obtained a full membership in 1995, I think that is a milestone for our organization, because we represent Taiwan as a kind of professional film archives. And especially when the UNESCO recommendation for the safeguarding and preservation of moving images was approved in 1980, which means that film as a cultural necessity has been proved. That means that film not only in an industry perspective, it covers the cultural narratives and cultural aspects. So our organization in Taiwan, it's a very challenge for us is how we tell the public what we do. Because just like the trailers you have seen, that my colleagues, they're being asked, what's your job? Most of them will be questioned that maybe you're making films. But no, we preserve films, which means we preserve cultural heritage. And we also connect with the South Asian region. So we became the full member of SAPAVA. It's also international archives in the South Asian regions. So we can have more dialogues with our neighbors, the South Asian region's country. So once we've been part of this international archives member and community, we can have full collaboration with them. And how we do it. This is some cases that I can show you. One is that we signed MOU with some of the archives. So this is what we have done this year, just in May, that we have signed MOU with the KOFA, Korean Film Archives. And this helps us to do the cooperation with film collection and restoration, and exchange individual films or film programs for exhibition. And furthermore, we exchange our research and publication. Likewise, that we are very interested in why the Korean film industry is so strong. So maybe that we can have some publication to exchange with them, because they also want to know that what Taiwan cinema is so attractive, especially for those masters like Hou Xiaoxi and Cai Mingliang. So we can exchange knowledge with each other through our research and publication. And this is a very interesting one, because we just finished our restoration recently. It's called Raining in the Mountain, and it is the film made by King Hu, a very martial art film director in 1970s and 1980s. And once we need to restore this film, we find that the material in our archive is not enough, which means the material in our archive is very bad. So we call for emergency worldwide. And the Korean Film Archive tell us that they have some copies in their archives. Because Kim Woo, the directors, made the film in Korea, I mean, this film. So KOFA just providing us the film material. The format is called camera negative and dupe negative. It's very complex. And the other surprising things that once we call for the emergency for this restoration project, Hong Kong Film Archive contact us. They provide us another camera negative and internegative material. So we have 3 sources about these films. One is from our archives and the other 2 is from the other countries. And finally, we completed ourselves the digital restoration of King Woo's Raining in the Mountain. And it also marked our first in-house feature-length film restoration achievement. Because most of the time, we outsource our restoration project to the international restoration lab, like in Italy or in Japan. But once we build our own equipment and our expertise, then we can do it ourselves. So it's kind of a cooperation with those archives, and we share this achievement with each other. And this is another one that not only in the Asian region, we also have a different program with Western culture, like in France, because they are quite keen to the Taiwanese film art. So this is happened also in this year. We cooperate with Cinémathèque Conseil, it's French Cinémathèque, and they have researchers who are very interested in Taiwanese language film from 1960 to 1980s. So he named this program Taiwan Back Cinema, Taiwan Pai Deng. And this is a very interesting concept to see Taiwanese film. And we collect 13 films, and they are all archived in our vaults. And it shows a great success in French. And also, they will take a tour to another country, like Swiss Cinémathèque. They are very interested in the same project. So we will have the same project, and we do all the subtitles, because the French language is quite useful in Swiss Cinémathèque. So it's a very good cooperation between these 2 countries. And I will, it seems that my time is a little bit left, so I will try to do my best to explain that not only for those classical films, since I just said that in 2014 we've been upgraded to Taiwan Film Institute, so we'll be given a mission that to do the Taiwan cinema promotion worldwide. And this is how I see this kind of structure. We as a kind of intermediaries, and we work with overseas festival and organization, and also Taiwan representative office and cultural centers. So these 3 agents just facilitate with each other. So you can see that different festivals. This is the festival that our restoration work has been selected in Cannes Classical section. And I see it as a more market way, because once it is screened in this so-called the biggest festival platform, it helps to have a better price, in kind of film markets. But what I want to emphasize more is the Taiwan Cinema Toolkit project is for the non-profit use. So we use this project to make sure all the profit is not the key word. I mean, it means that all those screenings with different formats in various topics matters. So these are the figures that we have done in the Taiwan Cinema Toolkit. You can see it's very amazing that lots of organizations worldwide, they take the benefit of this project because they don't have to pay for it. And our Ministry of Culture have subsidized this project for us, so we can clear all the rights of the cinemas. And because the rights issue is the best complicated issues in the film promotion. And once our institute have solved problems, they are very happy. They can use those films for the non-profit use. And this is kind of a map that the film screenings around the world for the past 3 or 5 years. And also we outreach ourselves in terms of documentaries, because as you can see that documentaries are not that kind of popular genres in film industry, but it represents the culture. I mean, because documentary, the format is quite free and it's independent spirit. So you can express yourself through making documentaries. And Taiwan's documentary film say aloud. I mean, they have covered many topics: human rights, environmental issues, and immigration issues. And those are the very typical elements that in Taiwan's documentary. So in 2017, Czech Republic, one of its biggest documentary film festival, they curate one program just called Transparent Landscape Taiwan. It used Taiwan as a kind of keyword for this program. So I think this is a very interesting case, and we cooperate with this organization at least more than 3 years, because we kind of come up with many different topics around Taiwan. Finally, I will show the last case. I think I'm more interested in this kind of networking work, because we cooperate with Indonesia's organization, and we do a kind of storytelling workshop. And there are only 12 filmmakers being selected in this workshop from the South Asian regions. So we use 10 days, and they are being mentored by 2 very professional filmmakers, because all those filmmakers join this workshop. They are quite young, they are talented, but they don't have well-equipped experience of telling the documentary story. So we cooperate with Indonesia and France, and they are all cultural organizations like us. So we have the freedom to do all those networking jobs. So we come up with ideas. And why not we just initiate a workshop? It's not a kind of large-scale screening festival, but we kind of bridge dialogues between those filmmakers, and they can come up with different ideas to know the same topic from their different backgrounds, but they also know that they share the same background knowledge because we're all from the Asia. So the dialogue is quite delicate, and I think that would be a good way that to trigger, more mutual understandings around our region's countries, and they can share more deep thoughts about how they think how to do the projects and how to make a better documentary. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for wonderful presentation. Actually, I love seeing movies. That's why I'm ready. From childhood, I try to look or see movies. In Japan, Taiwan movies are very popular, especially among youngsters. Though I'm not young, but I'm one of them. For instance, every month there are movie shows in Shinjuku and also in Nakano, or 2 or 3 places, at least in Tokyo. Very well. Of course, Ho Xiaoxing. Tao-Ren-Xi, Ho Xiaoxing. She had a collaboration with Ho Xiaoxing. Let me introduce to you. Now question and answer your is there any question? Please.
institutions in which you participate?
Yeah, it's a very good question. It's a very good question because yes, we face it, and it's a very challenging. Just like the FIAF, the occasion we joined the FIAF, as far as I remember, that almost every year, yeah, we'll be told that so-called China film archives, they protest us. Why are we here? So it's a very challenging issue, and every time we kind of solve it in a delicate way. For example, that we don't just bring it on the table. We just go back and to the staff of this organization and tell them that, yeah, we've been told that China have some problem with our presentation here, and they will downplay it. So sometimes our director will just talk to the director of the China Film Archive privately. Yes, and maybe they have a dinner together once or twice, because the conference takes almost 5 days. Yeah, so that we try to understand each other, because we know that they have their position to make it a kind of public call, but they all know our situation is quite in a different kind of situation. Yeah, and the staff of this organization, they rather downplay it. So every year we play it safe, but every year we know there might be an issue there. So
But
it just happened.
It stays at a sort of formal level, because on a more personal level, and in terms of the actual professional work you have to do, it doesn't really affect.
It doesn't really affect, because for the VIA, they are the cultural organization, so they do not want any political issue there. So they also manipulate this issue quite carefully. Yeah. And we do our professional work every year, so I think that will not cause that kind of serious problem. But yeah, we face it every year.
First, I want to thank you for giving so much information for us to understand what Taiwan Film Institute has been doing. So thank you so much. But I have some questions that I remember when I was studying in the US, and I remember that there's some film festival coming from China, and they try to kind of promote the 5th and the 6th generation, like 第5代、第6代 directors' works to the whole world, especially for the US market. So I'm just wondering if you or your institute has been doing something like this, or why you can't, like from Taiwan's experience. Could you elaborate a little bit, or do some evaluation? Thank you.
We try to cooperate with the cultural organization worldwide, and we curate the program with them together. And just like the topic that when talking about the so-called Taiwanese director as a focus of the program, they are thinking maybe it's not that kind of interest for their audiences. I mean, because Taiwanese director, we always know the big names, Hou Xiaoxian, Cai Mingliang, Yang Dechang, Edward Yang. But what in our mind is there are different directors, from different generations that we want to promote them. Yeah, so it's a kind of negotiation process, because they always want to have a showcase of Hou Xiaoxian, and it's still going on. But yeah, we are love to see that, and they have their resources to do that, and we can provide materials for them. That's okay. But what we have, once we have the resource ourselves, we want to have different perspectives of Taiwan cinema history. So that's what I have shown, that we cooperate with the French Cinematheque, and they kind of dig into another aspects of Taiwan cinema history, maybe from the 1950 to 1970s, and it's always a heydays in that period in the film history. So we want to promote it in different perspective and approach. But also we have a Czech Republic experience. They are very interested in the democratic experience in Taiwan, so they call it as a Taiwan, as a main theme of this festival. And it's the biggest documentary film festival in Eastern Europe. And we kind of related to them because they have this same kind of different political background with Taiwan. So the dialogue is mutual, and we can share different political, economic, cultural background with each other, and the understanding is quite mutual. So we'd rather do that kind of showcasing program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other question or comment? Please. You.
Oh, okay, me, okay. I think I'm loud enough. So, there is some video taping, so you have to. Okay, then please.
I have a question about like overseas Taiwanese directors. So that's what I know in LA, that they already have like a Taiwanese American kind of film festival. Is it film festival? And that is curious about if the Taiwan Film Art Institute will kind of collect kind of overseas Taiwanese work to like the institute, the archive.
You mean the overseas archive in
No,
US?
No. So overseas Taiwanese work, like directors' work.
Not many. But yeah, but once they're being, because we kind of promote the Taiwan production. Yeah, so so-called Taiwan production, they must be made in Taiwan, and the crew from Taiwan. Yeah, but there are lots of co-production films, so yeah, I don't think that would be a issue. Once they are good enough, yeah, we would love to promote it.
Is there any